The spring leaf-out is underway in the deep south, and in some places this is the earliest spring on record. So here to tell us more about what this is and why this is happening is Samantha Brewer with the USA National Phenology Network. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, let's start by explaining what the spring leaf-out and bloom is.
So, spring leaf out and bloom. So, what we're tracking here at the National Phenology Network is tracking the progress of spring conditions across the United States. So, what these maps are showing us is where environmental conditions are ripe for spring leaves and blooms to start appearing on plants. And we're seeing that these conditions are occurring earlier than the long term average in the southeastern United States and a little bit later than usual in the southwest.
So what factors exactly determine whether a season is going to be early, on time, or late?
Temperature and weather events are the biggest factors that affect the timing and progress of spring leaf out and blooms. Plants are living things just like we are, and they can sense what's happening in the environment around them and respond accordingly. So, day length, length of exposure to warm temperatures, and water availability are all some of the factors that can affect when a plant will start to leaf out or bloom. So, the reason that we're seeing these early spring conditions are because we're having warmer than average temperatures in the southeast for a long period of time.
So I was actually just talking to some friends and family that are from the Southeast, and I was telling them about this, that, it's blooming a little bit early, and they were like, but it has gotten cold. And I was like, yeah, it has gotten cold, and very cold, but only for very short durations of time. But that cold is also important to getting these plants on time too, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. So there are some plants that actually need long periods of cold weather followed by warmth in order to be able to germinate or bloom. If they start blooming too early and then are hit with that cold weather, it can be really devastating to some of them.
That was actually going to be my next question. So we're tracking how early these plants are, but what are the impacts that come from the timing on that?
So, an early spring or even a false spring, where you have those early spring events followed by typical winter events, it can definitely impact our daily lives. Earlier and longer springs can cause an earlier and longer lasting allergy season, and that could actually negatively affect the lives of over 50 million people who suffer from seasonal allergies in the US. The harm that occurs to plants by those false springs can also cause significant damage to many crop species. So then that can cause detrimental economic impacts to both farmers and consumers. And then it's not only people who are affected by this, but early or false springs can impact the seasonal patterns of many native plant and animal species who rely on those environmental cues for their seasonal behavior patterns.
Samantha, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate all that information, and we will probably be talking to you again later this season.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being here and talking with you.